It is Thursday, July 24th, and President Trump crashing Jerome Powell's party over at the Fed. Trump pulling a surprise impromptu visit at the new Fed HQ, putting too late Powell in the most uncomfortable position I've ever seen. We're going to show you Trump checking up on Powell and their new $3.1 billion construction project paid for by you, the taxpayer. This is a power move. And Powell looking like he's going to blow chunks. Wait till you see this. Also, Obama's DNI James Clapper admitting he's lawyered up for his role in the Russiagate hoax, that he's very nervous. He says for what the consequences will be. We're going to show you, and more stories as well from around the country.
Building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
So at the end of 1965, then Fed Chair William McKesney began hiking rates, convincing the Board of Governors at the FOMC to raise the night rate under the premise that the economy was overheating, that inflation was about to begin rising, that too much fiscal stimulus, they said, had been pumped into the economy during the Vietnam War, and they needed to get ahead of rising prices. Well, on December 5th of 1965, LBJ summons McKesney and the other Fed governors to his home, the chairman jumping on a plane, flying down to LBJ's Texas ranch, to President Johnson's Texas ranch, something in and of itself very unusual. And what's said to have happened next is nothing short of remarkable. LBJ reportedly getting so frustrated in this meeting with the Fed chair that he's said to have physically assaulted him, tossing the Fed chair around the room, pushing and shoving him. In the end, though, LBJ failed. The Fed didn't cut rates for years. Well, fast forward to present day, the Fed is trying this again, only this time it will end differently. Trump will win because unlike in 1965, inflation's falling today. Trump is right.
Welcome back. Now there's Azoria Capital filing a lawsuit today against Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell, alleging that the central bank is violating transparency law. The suit in part says this: Azoria believes the Federal Reserve is violating federal transparency law, and we are asking a federal judge to immediately block next week's Federal Reserve meeting from happening behind closed doors. Azoria is demanding the court order that the Fed to keep the meeting open as the company sounds the alarm on recent policy decisions, saying Azoria is deeply concerned that the FOMC under Chairman Powell is maintaining high interest rates to undermine President Donald J. Trump and his economic agenda.
The Fed's just refusing to do their job. We reported on Sunday, 4 days ago, that the second half of this year, from what we've been told, the Trump administration is making it their mission. Objective number one is to solve their Jerome Powell problem. Well, they've started. This is now a full-out pressure campaign. Trump's done everything in his power to set this country up for success. I'm not just saying that. They've used tariffs to devalue the dollar. When you make the dollar cheaper, inflation virtually becomes a non-issue. It's very hard for prices to rise when the dollar is so cheap. They've turned the throttle on domestic energy production to the max. They've changed the tax brackets to make building in America essentially tax-free. And in a real free market, if the U.S. had a real free market, an open market, rates would be falling all on their own. We saw proof of this when Trump's policies were first being rolled out a few months ago. Rates began falling. Then the Fed stepped on it, and now they're stuck. They're frozen, all thanks to the Federal Reserve. They fixed the night rate, and they've telegraphed their plans to not cut rates. It's screwing the credit markets up. There's nothing else Trump can do from an executive level to get rates down. The only way to do this is to either dismantle the Fed altogether or convince them, pressure them to cut rates. The Trump team is pursuing the latter. Since Monday, we've seen the federal housing director call for Powell's resignation. We saw the Republicans in Congress refer Powell to the DOJ for criminal prosecution for perjuring himself. Treasury under Scott Bessent has ordered a full top-to-bottom review of the Fed. Then this morning, Jerome Powell was served. Jerome Powell sued for allegedly keeping rates high to undermine Trump's agenda. And now, just moments ago, the White House announcing President Trump will be making a sudden, unannounced visit to Fed HQ. The big boss is paying Jerome Powell a visit. Moments ago, Trump writing on Truth Social, getting ready to head over to the Fed to look at their now $3.1 billion plus construction project. Also present will be Fed Chair Jerome Powell, Senator Tim Scott, Senator Tom Tillis, OMB Director Russ Vought, Chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac Bill Pulte, my appointees to the National Capital Planning Commission, etc., and various other construction professionals. Here's some footage from the meeting. Look how uncomfortable Jerome Powell looks. Play this clip.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us.
Yes. I don't know who does that.
Are you including the Martin renovation? You just added
Entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not, it's not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So, any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you any?
As a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager who would be over budget?
This is the definition of a power play. Trump is putting all pressure possible on Jerome Powell. You gotta just feel for Powell right now. I mean, he probably just feels so small at the moment. Everything is just collapsing onto him like never before in his life, I'm sure. He's got the power of the presidency and everyone around Trump just laying on him. This is pure power politics. Will he fold? Yes, I believe he will. In another story, top intel officials from the Obama administration have now begun lawyering up. The DOJ, as we know, opened a full criminal conspiracy investigation into Russiagate, forming what they're calling a strike force to investigate the Obama administration. And we're hearing it's very possible a grand jury's already being presented evidence to decide if charging certain officials is now warranted. Target number one for DOJ is allegedly John Brennan and then James Clapper, both of whom have been caught lying under oath to Congress. I mean, we've seen the clips numerous times. It's like public knowledge that these were lies they told in front of Congress. Clapper telling CNN yesterday he believes he'll soon be indicted. Let's play that. Actually, real quick, before we play that, a quick message from our friends over at Black Forest Supplements. I just found something wild about stem cells. If you don't know, stem cells are like tiny repair crews in your body, and they go fix things that need to be fixed. I'm going to show you a video where Dr. Eric Berg, one of the most watched health educators on YouTube, he's been talking about this for years.
A stem cell is kind of like this reserve cell that can pretty much change into anything that you need. They're using it now to regenerate fibrosis, which then allows the heart muscle function to improve by 30%. They can do the same thing with liver fibrosis and damaged brain cells. They're getting great results stimulating new cartilage in your joint. Some people are using it for autoimmune diseases like MS, and also to help rejuvenate skin cells to actually make the skin young again. There's also stem cells for cancer. It's very important to understand how to keep that stem cell population at the highest level.
The thing about stem cells is that they are crazy expensive. We got Hollywood weirdos spending $50,000 for one placenta stem cell injection. Honestly, that's just wild. Luckily, my guys at Black Forest developed cocoa flavanols. Studies have been done to show that flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees coming out of a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find whatever needs to be repaired. If it's your heart, they'll fix it. If it's your liver, they'll fix it. If it's your skin, they fix it. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee actually backing this up. Check this out.
So, studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's in your skin, they'll fix it. And so we can eat foods like high flavanol cocoa in order to be able to actually get the stem cells to work a little bit better. Now, how do we know this actually functions, works in people? Well, clinical studies have been done with high flavanol cocoa to show that in like men who are in their 60s with heart disease, they could actually just have 2 cups of dark chocolate hot cocoa a day for a month.
Yeah.
And they doubled the amount of stem cells in their bloodstream, and their circulation improved measurably. And then what's even more important and impressive is that there was a study called the Cosmos study that was completed recently that showed that eating high flavanol cocoa decreases the risk of cardiovascular death.
Yeah.
Right, over a period
like a statin.
Like a statin. Right. Exactly. Except made with by eating the same thing that you use to make chocolate.
That's
so we're not telling people to go out to have chocolate, which is a confection, which has got a lot of sugar and all kinds of other stuff in it.
Yeah.
But it's the stuff underlying
underneath it,
the core of it.
This isn't your average cocoa. It's a stem cell power-up. I mix it into my coffee, sometimes my protein shakes. Tastes great, and the benefits are real. No sugar, only 20 calories. So if you're experiencing significant aging, slow recovery, weak immunity, or just feeling off, blame your lazy stem cells. But guess what? Cocoa flavanols activate them like a fountain of youth in a scoop. Studies show that cocoa flavanols increase stem cell circulation by over 100%. So go to my link in the description or pinned comment down below. For the next 48 hours, you can get a whopping 45% off store-wide promo for the next 48 hours only. So stock up while you can. Again, it's Black Forest's High Flavanols Cocoa. Here's Obama's former DNI, James Clapper. This is the man who had Tulsi Gabbard's job at the end of Obama's term, who played a huge role in Russiagate. Watch how nervous he is now, admitting he's lawyered up. Roll the tape.
When the director says that she's referred these filings to the Justice Department for a criminal investigation, tonight we're told they formed what is called a strike force. Do you have concerns that they will attempt to prosecute you?
Well, certainly I do. After 8.5 years of this, and I don't know of an intelligence product that was more scrutinized, more investigated than that product was by numerous people. It's very disconcerting. It really is. And I take seriously when the President of the United States accuses me of being a participant in a treasonous conspiracy, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, what's your reaction to that?
It's ridiculous. It is untrue.
So what will you do if they come after you? What is your plan?
Well, I'll lawyer up, I suppose. Already have.
You've already hired attorneys in anticipation that this Trump Justice Department could try to prosecute you.
We've had sort of perpetual attorneys since I left the government in 2017.
So Clapper and Brennan are the two obvious fall guys here. They're easy cases to start with because the DOJ could just charge them with perjury. The same way the Biden DOJ did to the Trump administration officials. We saw them do that with so many people in Trump's orbit a few years ago. Bill O'Reilly, who talks to Trump on the regular, said, "We will see Brennan indicted, and soon." Watch.
So the Tulsi Gabbard drop of classified information that's now declassified, the headline in there is that John Brennan, former director of the CIA, is in trouble. and I believe he will be indicted. And the telling part of this is that, and this is, I'm quoting from the report from the Select Committee on Intelligence, the House Select Committee, is that Brennan knowingly, all right, published 3 reports containing information that was, quote, unclear, of uncertain origin, potentially biased or implausible. If that's true, and we need to give Mr. Brennan due process, he's going to be charged.
Well, you also need to
So they'll present that evidence in front. They'll present the evidence in front of a grand jury. Now the others, Comey and it's not quite as clear.
Mm-hmm.
So Brennan has the big exposure here.
The goal here being to slap them with perjury charges and get them to cut a deal, flip on others. Will that happen? I think we will see some arrests, folks. The DOJ, they formed a criminal conspiracy investigation. Not a small thing to do. It's like a Rico case. They did that for a number of reasons, mostly though because the statute of limitations has already ran out for most of these people and the things that they're being accused of. If you charge under a Rico or a conspiracy, from what I understand, there's no longer at least the same statute of limitations. So will this lead to arrests? We're hearing yes. We need to wait and see, though. We need to see some receipts is what we need. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.